Episode 1 begins inside a quiet high school corridor. Saito Houjou walks toward his classroom, but suddenly freezes. Right in front of him stands Akane Sakuramori. She spots him and immediately storms over. "If you tell anyone about this, I'll erase you from this world." Saito glares back, frustrated. "Seriously? I ended up marrying the one person I hate most in this school?" Flashback to 4 days earlier. Inside the classroom, Saito and Akane are already mid-argument. "You didn't clean the blackboard, you didn't take notes, you're so lazy," Akane snaps. Saito exhales, annoyed. "If you've got so much time, why don't you go read a book?" Akane's face turns red with rage. Suddenly, a cheerful voice interrupts. Himari Ishikura walks in with a bright smile. "Why do you always fight with Saito?" she asks casually. Akane frowns. "I don't even know. Just seeing his face makes me want to crush him." Saito Houjou, bubbly and popular, walks up to Saito. "Don't worry, big bro, I totally get it." Meanwhile, Himari teases Akane. "I think you like him." Akane slams her desk. "Like him? If he were the last guy on Earth, I still wouldn't fall for him." Saito shouts from across the room. "Same here. I'd never fall for you either." Later that evening, Saito walks home when his phone rings. It's Tenryu Houjou, his grandfather. "Come meet me, we need to talk." Saito scoffs. "No thanks. I've got better things to do than your drama." His grandfather calmly replies, "If you don't come, you'll miss out on something big." Even then, Saito refuses, but seconds later, he's surrounded by bodyguards. He's forced into a car. On the way, he asks what's going on, but the guard just says, "Can't say." Saito shrugs it off. As he sits in silence, he thinks about the Hojo Group, a company once on the brink of collapse rebuilt by his grandfather into a global tech empire. Even at 60+, the man's sharper than most people half his age. A few moments later, Saito arrives and takes a seat. Soon after, Akane storms in, clearly irritated. Saito frowns. "What are you doing here?" Akane snaps, "My grandma called me." Saito replies, "Well, my grandpa dragged me here." Just like that, they start bickering again. Suddenly, their grandparents walk in, catching them mid-fight. The old couple chuckles. "Seems like you two already know each other." Saito and Akane freeze, stunned to see both grandparents together. Moments later, the four sit down for dinner. Saito's grandfather says today is a special day, but Saito feels something's off. Akane mutters, "I was hungry, but your face killed my appetite." Saito fires back, "Same. Just seeing you ruins my day." They're at it again, throwing petty insults like clockwork. Their grandparents laugh, saying the two seem really close. Both immediately shout, "We're not!" Saito finally demands, "Why did you call us here?" That's when they drop the bomb. They want Saito and Akane to get married. Silence. Both stare in shock, wondering if they misheard. But the grandparents explain further. When they were in high school, they were just like them. Always fighting, never confessing their feelings. Circumstances tore them apart. Saito's grandfather married someone else and lived a full life. But it's been 10 years since his wife passed. Akane's grandmother says her husband passed away 7 years ago. Since then, Saito's grandfather has been the one looking after her. Akane blushes, flustered. "Stop saying weird things." But the grandfather continues, "We couldn't be together. But maybe our grandchildren can fulfill that dream." Saito and Akane both snap. "You can't just force people to marry. This isn't some old school drama, it's illegal." Saito's grandfather smirks and says, "I knew you'd say that." Then, completely serious, he whistles, and a stray dog trots into the room. "If you won't marry Akane," he says, "I'll leave everything, my wealth, my company, to this dog." Saito's jaw drops. "Have you lost your mind?" Meanwhile, Akane's grandmother quietly pulls her aside. She whispers something into Akane's ear, and whatever it is terrifies her. Now both Saito and Akane are visibly shaken. Their grandparents say nothing more, just one final line. "You have 3 days. Think about it." They leave. Silence fills the room. Finally, Akane breaks it. "So, are you really going to marry me?" Saito scoffs, "What about you?" And what did your grandma say to freak you out like that? Akane snaps, "That's none of your business. It's my future. I'll deal with it." Saito responds flatly, "Good, because there's no way I'm marrying you either." Later that night, Akane sits alone in her room, frustrated. And finally, we learn the truth. She hates Saito because he always ranks first in class. No matter how hard she tries, she's always second. Suddenly, her phone rings. It's Himari. During the chat, Akane casually asks, "What if someone forced you to marry a guy you didn't even like?" Himari laughs. "I'd refuse, obviously. I already like someone at school. That's who I want to marry." Akane's stunned. "You have a crush? And never told me?" Himari giggles. "You never seemed interested." Akane hesitates, then agrees, "Yeah, maybe I'm not." Himari grins. "Then I won't tell you who it is either." Then she asks, "Do you have a crush?" Akane shrugs. "Nope. But I do have an enemy I'd love to destroy." Himari laughs again. "Marriage doesn't sound that bad, though. You split bills, food, life stuff." Akane shakes her head. "That's not a reason to get married. There's way more involved." Himari smirks. "Like what?" Akane blushes hard. "You know, the stuff husbands and wives do." Himari teases her. "Well, if you want kids, you'll have to do it someday." Akane turns red. "I don't want to do any of that." Meanwhile, Saito sits in his room, drained and confused. "Why me?" he mutters. His younger sister walks in. "Why do you look like the world's ending, Oni-chan?" Saito sighs. "Grandpa gave me a ridiculous condition. If I say no, I lose everything." She sits beside him and smiles. "It's okay. Even if the world turns against you, I won't." That one line, her quiet support, gives Saito a rare moment of peace. Saito smiled softly. "Thanks, Shaise. I mean it." And just like that, 3 days passed. We're back where it all began. The grand dining hall. Their grandparents were already seated when Saito and Akane arrived. "So," the grandfather asked, leaning forward, "have you made your decision?" Without even looking at each other, both answered at the same time, "We're ready to get married." A pause. They were both surprised to hear the other say it. Akane turned to Saito and muttered, "Just because I agree doesn't mean I like you or anything." The grandparents? Overjoyed. Their plan had worked. Saito stood, brushing off his jacket. "All right, I'm heading out. Once I graduate, we can have the ceremony." But his grandfather raised a hand. "Oh no, the wedding's happening now." Saito froze. "Wait, what?" His grandfather grinned. "I already bought you two a new house." Cut to Saito and Akane arriving at that very house. Saito, irritated, grumbled, "Was all this really necessary? I didn't even pack my stuff." The old man's voice echoed, "We already moved everything in. You'll be too busy for trips." And with that, their grandparents waved goodbye and left them there. The two stepped inside, and the door clicked shut behind them. The lock clicked. Akane froze. "Wait, why did you lock the door? Are you planning to do something to me?" Saito gave her a blank look. "Can you stop overthinking for once?" She huffed and looked away. They began exploring the house together, checking each room in awkward silence, unsure how they'd survive under one roof. Then they stepped into the bedroom. And froze. There was only one bed. Saito panicked and called his grandfather. "Why is there only one bed?" The old man replied, calm as ever. "You're married. Of course you'll share a bed." Akane shouted, "There's no way I'm sleeping next to him." The reply came fast. "You don't have a choice. That's priority condition 1. Both of them went pale. Saito looked around nervously. What if they've installed cameras or sensors? Akane turned bright red. Wait, are you planning to do something to me now?" Saito stared. "Do what?" She exploded. "You know what married couples do, but I'm not doing that with you." Saito snapped. "You think I want to do that with you?" Akane growled. "I knew it! That's why I brought a weapon!" Saito groaned. "You've got it all wrong. I'm not going to force anything." She began unpacking. He offered, "Want help?" "No," she snapped. but the next second, she slipped. He caught her instinctively. She turned bright red. Don't touch me like that." Saito calmly replied, "Relax. I just don't want my wife dying on day one and getting blamed for her murder." Later that night, Saito started dinner. Akane walked in. "You're eating already?" He nodded. "Want to join me?" "Absolutely not!" She snapped, grabbed some food, and rushed off. Later, Saito lay on the bed. "Man, I'm exhausted." A few moments passed. Akane entered the room, blushing. She quietly lay down, back to back, both pretending to sleep. But neither of them really could. Saito thinks to himself, "This bed is way too small. I can literally smell her hair. I don't know why, but this is making me feel weird." Akane suddenly warns him, "If you try anything funny, I swear I'll kill you." Saito nervously chuckles and says, "What if the next condition they give us is to have a baby?" Hearing that, Akane is completely shocked. Her body jerks slightly in surprise, and in that moment her chest accidentally brushes against Saito's hand. Akane instantly gets furious, grabs his hand and twists it, yelling, "You did that on purpose, didn't you?" Saito screams, "I swear I didn't! Please forgive me, Mom. This is all your fault, Akane." Cut to the present timeline, we're back in that school hallway, the exact moment when Akane is angrily confronting Saito. She yells, "If you tell anyone in our class about this, I won't spare you." Saito fires back, "If anyone in class does find out, I swear I'm not letting you off the hook either. But don't worry, I won't tell anyone." Akane glares at him and says, "What if you end up telling the whole world?" Saito sighs and replies, "Can you at least try to believe me just a little?" Then, in his mind, he thinks, "I really did get married, but to the one girl I absolutely hate the most." And just like that, episode 1 comes to an end. So guys, if you want to see what happens next, make sure to like and comment as much as you can. The more love you show, the faster I'll bring out episode 2. See you in the next one. Thanks for watching.